everyone. My name is Dr. Michael Harris. Welcome back to my podcast called The Fruits of Virtue. This is about encouraging you to live a good life, to live by virtue, and become your best self. Yesterday we talked about depression, some tips and techniques on how to overcome it. Today is part 2 on that, the power of our thoughts. Depression is a condition of hopelessness and helplessness. It can be situational, it can be environmental, it can have biological causes. Today we're going to talk about the importance of our thoughts and how they influence depression. Simply put, our thoughts are a roadmap into our feelings. They influence our emotions in a very big way. Usually there's an event or a stimulus, then we have a reaction to that event, which is the interpretation of what happened, then that's followed by feelings. So it's A leads to B leads to C. The situation or event, your interpretation of that event, and then your emotions. If you interpret someone as ignoring you, you might have rejecting thoughts, which result in feelings of rejection. Ultimately, we have power over thoughts. We have the ability to reason, meaning we can come up with a new interpretation. When you sense someone is ignoring or rebuffing you, you can choose to interpret in a different way, but you've got to train your mind on how to do this. You might interpret their behavior as they're having a bad day, or that it's not purposeful, or they have something else on their mind. Guess what? If you do that, that will lead to having a different feeling, to not feeling bad, to not feeling rejected, to not feeling upset, to having just an okay feeling about the situation. That's how we take care of ourselves when we find ourselves in a negative state of emotion. This therapy or learned skill is called CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. It's been absolutely helpful to those suffering from depression and anxiety. As you learn this technique over time, you'll begin to think in these terms and can save yourself needless suffering. For most people, our emotions are a barometer. Your emotions tell you about the quality of your thoughts. So when you're feeling mad, bad, or sad, or off, you need to figure out what you were thinking about and create a reinterpretation of those initial negative, awfulizing thoughts. Don't feel too bad. All human beings really have this problem. It's a matter of frequency and degree. Someone who's upset all the time is catastrophizing and awfulizing the things they're seeing and watching from other people. Common thinking errors are jumping to conclusions, blaming, magnification or minimization, labeling, personalizing. There are many others. You can find these thinking errors if you're interested online. A good way to learn to reframe a thought is to journal, preferably at the end of the day when you can recount what happened to you. Write about 2 or 3 experiences that led you to have negative, darker thoughts or feelings. You'll write down the experience or the thinking error. Then you'll follow that with a more rational response. Here's an example. I initiate calls to my friend, but I don't hear from her very much. Maybe she's trying to send a message that she doesn't like to talk to me. Those are some examples of some negative interpretations. Instead, I could think this woman is very, very busy and she doesn't have the time that I have. Next time I talk to her, I could ask her, why don't you call me very often? It seems to be me that's reaching out so much. Then you'll learn if what your interpretation is the thinking error or if there's another reason that she doesn't call. But now you have the chance to hear from the horse's mouth, the real answer, the real reason. But in the meantime, you won't have to suffer until you hear the real truth. This is called reframing. You're placing a new, more rational interpretation on an experience, particularly on one that left you feeling bad. We are responsible for how we feel at the end of the day. This is a wonderful way to learn how to do this. It really works. It's going to save you undue suffering and pain that's often not intended by others. I hope this helps. So get out your journal each night, write about a couple of experiences, come up with a new interpretation of what might have really happened, which will result in you feeling better. I hope this helps. I hope you have a great day. All the best. And goodbye for now.